Bonjour. Welcome to another video. And I remember that request that I got, which says, "Hi, love your channel. Please do more of these videos of Toronto using Google Maps. I agree, this city sucks." So, I'm going to do a video about different parts of Canada. I'm not going to let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do different parts, of Canada, and, I kind of got a whip of how people are in that country. So, I'm going to start with some cities and give my thoughts on them. So let me go get started. Okay, I'm on Google Maps, and I'm looking at a Dairy Queen on 3rd Avenue in Prince George, British Columbia. So I'm gonna look at some reviews for this place. I've been looking at reviews of fast food eateries in different parts of Canada. I mean, the service from these food eateries are from workers, employees. The employees at some of these places come off as very rude, and so I'm gonna go and look at the review for this. So I'm gonna go and look at this review for this Prince George, BC Dairy Queen, or DQ. Okay, here's the review for this Dairy Queen in Prince George, BC. That's on 3rd Avenue. Okay, it has a 3 out of 9. Okay, I'm looking at the review summary, and here's some things about this place. Okay, staff good, the food okay, but patties on burgers cold. Okay, here's another one. Charge high prices for the ice cream and give small amount. The best place to get BD ice cream, cakes, and treats. Yummy. Okay, check this out. Okay, here's another review. Second update. Still no response for this location 2 weeks later. We're sorry. We're sorely disappointed. We've boycotted Dairy Queen altogether. Update. I emailed DQ customer service as requested by the response of this review. I was referred right back to the people who own this DQ location. Will update when I receive a response. Okay, here's one. Okay, let me go look here. I guess. Okay, here we go. Here's one. I went through the drive-thru earlier today, and I attempted to order something which I didn't know was no longer on the menu. Instead of being given an alternative option, the manager who was operating the speaker was very, very rude. She spoke to me like a baby and made me question ever choosing this location. I later called the restaurant, and when the same manager answered, instead of addressing my concerns and apologizing, she asked, "Is that all?" and hung up on me. I will no longer be visiting again and will advise friends and family of the poor management of this establishment. Um, I think I can relate to this. I remember a while back, I think around back in 2018 or 2019, I called a Dairy Queen somewhere in British Columbia. I think it was Prince George. Okay, so I pretended to be someone looking for a job. Okay, I called this place, and a woman who was a worker there answered, and she was talking really fast, and she was yelling at me. And I said, "Are you guys?" I asked them, "Yes, are you guys hiring?" She said, "No, we're not hiring." And then when I said thank you to her, she immediately just hung up on me. So that was very, very rude, you know. And where I come from, if you act like that on a job, I mean, you're not going to have a job anymore. You're going to be fired. But I don't know. It looks like people who work at this fast food place, who works at any fast food establishment anywhere in Canada, if they're rude employees, um, they will still have a job. And they will never get fired, and they will never get fired, which is wrong. You know, and there's some rude people at fast food eateries where I live here in the U.S. Notably in Dallas. You know, and there's like rude fast food or restaurants all over America that have like rude people. I think that's like in the western part of the U.S. I don't know. But yeah, okay. Back to Canada. So I'm gonna pick another province. Alrighty then. So I'm gonna pick Manitoba. And the city that I'm gonna be going to Manitoba, it's which is its capital, Winnipeg. Okay, I'm at a subway outside of um, outside of Winnipeg. It's near the major highway, Manitoba Highway 59. And I'm gonna read one review from this subway. Thinking, lead this chance Manitoba. It's in French. So let me read this. It's a review. One of the reviews at this subway. I'm gonna read this. It wasn't the best when it came to service. The young lady working here gave me an attitude for absolutely nothing. The young man was helpful. He got my food with a little animosity, but it wasn't as bad as the young lady. The older lady was fairly nice, but the young workers here aren't nice at all. I'm Native American, so I hope that's not it, but they weren't nice whatsoever. Okay, seems to me okay, the young lady and the young workers weren't friendly. One of them had an attitude and gave this guy who was a Native American an attitude for absolutely no reason. So that's just disgusting right there. I'm gonna say this. If you don't like working at a job, quit. Like, why you being bitter? Why you taking it out on people? Like, I mean, those customers. I mean, they didn't tell you to work there. You wanted to work there. So if you don't like working there, quit. That's all I gotta say. So it seems to me, these some of these people in Canada are very, very rude. And very, and and not very nice and respectful to the customers. Yes, someone from Canada told me this. Oh, we're not all nice. We're not all nice people. Yeah, I guess it is the response from stupid people in the United States saying that all Canadians are nice. And I'm an American and I don't think like that because I know for a fact that everybody isn't nice. You know, some people are nice, some people aren't. And I mean that goes everywhere. Maybe these young people at this subway are grouchy because I don't know, they're probably not getting paid enough. They're not very sociable people. You know, Not very respectful because this is here in North America. The young people aren't sociable and the older people are. You know, and hearing this review on the older lady was fairly nice, and the younger people were rude and unfriendly. That's kind of similar to here in the U.S. because people. I see, the young people aren't friendly, sociable, and down to earth, and the older people are. I ain't saying all older people are friendly and sociable and down to earth. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But it's the younger people who are just who are just like antisocial in a bubble. They're closed off, standoffish. I mean, in North America, I mean, you can see this. I mean, you can go to any setting in the U.S. or Canada and see that people are socially isolated and closed off and antisocial. They don't like to talk to people. I mean, they're not open. They're not friendly. They're not down to earth. And they're not. But if you go abroad, okay, if you go to some countries in Europe, the younger people in Europe or any country in the world, some countries in the world, the young people are friendly, sociable, and down to earth and easy to talk to. And some of the older people are mean and grouchy and antisocial and rude. Not rude, but mean and grouchy and antisocial. Yeah, antisocial means you're not sociable. You don't want to talk to anybody. So, that's just the big difference there. So it seems to me, Canada is no different from the US. Okay, I'm gonna go to Winnipeg. And before I pick a place in Winnipeg, another another restaurant establishment, I I got this strange comment on one of my videos on my channel, and it reads as follows. Okay, come to Vancouver, BC. Many beautiful women, not much black men, but white women love chocolates in Vancouver, BC. Please visit. Don't be shy. Yeah. Vancouver, yeah, I'm going to go and check that city out when I get done with Winnipeg. Okay. Here's a comment that's on par with Winnipeg. IMO Winnipeg and Halifax. Winnipeg and Halifax are better cities than Toronto. I'm just gonna focus on Winnipeg. Winnipeg is better than Toronto. Toronto. Winnipeg is better than Toronto. Okay, let's see this. Okay, I'm on the Trans-Canada Highway in Winnipeg. And, it doesn't look like a very nice city. It's decent. But also I heard that Winnipeg has a very high murder rate. And it's a very, very dangerous city. So, are the people here are any better? Let's find out. I'm not trying to bash different parts of Canada. I'm not trying to do that. But I'm just going to say this again, I don't think that all Canadians are nice. Some of them are nice, some of them aren't. So I'm not going to sit there and say that they're all nice. I ran into some Canadians, abroad. Some of them are older people. I haven't ran across the younger ones, so yeah, it is what it is. You know what? I'm not gonna do like fast food locations. I'm just gonna say this. I've been watching them. I watched a video on YouTube of some crazy woman running up to someone in a car and start beating on the hood of their car and destroying the hood on their car and running off. Like it looked like this woman who was just ran and started attacking this car was on drugs. Something was wrong with her. So yeah, and also I heard that there's some people with mental problems in Canada. I heard that heard that there's a drug problem in Vancouver, and I heard it's really really bad. And speaking of Vancouver, I'm gonna go there right now. Okay, I'm looking at Vancouver and the surrounding cities around it. Coquitlam, Port Moody, Burnaby, Richmond, Surrey, New Westminster or New West, Langley, Abbotsford, and Surrey. So yeah, it's a lot of cities around Vancouver. And I've never been to Vancouver. I've been to Victoria, which is on the southern which is on the southeastern tip of Vancouver Island. That's the only part of Canada that I've ever been to, but I've never been to Vancouver and other parts of Canada. So let me go take a look at Vancouver. Okay. So I'm on West 22nd Street, West 22nd Avenue, excuse me, West 22nd Avenue in Vancouver, BC. So it looks like a very, very nice city. So I didn't go to the rundown parts of it. Probably got some rundown parts of it. I don't know. Yeah. It's a very nice city. This place kind of reminds me of a neighborhood that I used to live in Oceanside, California. So I'm just gonna say this. You know, you know, I heard about the Seattle freeze in Seattle, Washington, where people are very ice cold, very standoffish, very antisocial. Nobody talks to each other. Nobody knows their neighbors, and this also exists in Canada, namely places like Vancouver and Victoria and other cities all over Canada. So social disconnection exists in both countries, the US and Canada. And it's kind of sad, really. This is a very nice city. Like, also Victoria's pretty nice. It's just sad that, all over the country, like, nobody doesn't want to talk to you. And you try to talk to some Canadians online, they won't talk to you. They're just quiet. You know, if you speak to them, they won't speak back to you. It's very weird. I don't know. I don't know. They got this I don't know, this, yeah, they're antisocial, and they got this passive aggressiveness. I don't know. It's like they don't want to. It's like they just don't want to talk to you. Like, because I went to Victoria, and my sister spoke to this bus driver of a tour bus that my parents, me, and my sister went on all over on some parts of Victoria, not Vancouver, but Victoria. And my sister spoke to this bus driver, and this bus driver spoke back to her. And then when my sister asked the bus driver a question, the bus driver just ignored my sister. And my sister doesn't really care about that, because she's a crazy antisocial toxic drone from the U.S. Very dysfunctional, and I see that, and it's just like, it's kind of cold. Like, my sister asked this bus driver a question. This bus driver just ignored her. And also, I think I remember when I got off the cruise ship onto Victoria. I sailed through Seattle, not Seattle, sailed from Seattle to Juneau, Skagway in Alaska, and stopped at Victoria before heading back to the States. This guy was handing out like souvenirs to people. A British Columbia pin and something else. And I think I said this to him, and I think this was stupid of me. I didn't know any better at the time. This was back in 2013. I said thank you to this guy. He didn't say anything. He just smiled. So I guess, if you talk to some of the Canadian, yeah, I think when they work a job, they don't speak to people. So yeah. So I'm not upset about it. I think it's just, it just, North America is just very cold, very antisocial, very standoffish, very isolating. You know, that exists in both the US and Canada. I say Canada is even worse than the US. So, it's kind of sad, Canada is a very nice country, but, the people are very very questionable to me, and just, if you ask me, I think I don't want to have anything to do with them. Maybe that's just they're just on a different frequency than me. I don't know. Because me as a person, I don't bother anybody. I don't I don't cause any mischief or chaos or anything. If someone comes up and talk to me, yeah, I'll talk to them. I like talking to people. But I guess socializing with people in Canada is not an option. It's like it just doesn't exist. So, to each his own, yeah. I'll visit the country, but where I really want to go to is Europe, and places like Turkey, countries where you can socialize with people. You just can't just you just can't just like walk up and just start a conversation with someone in the US or Canada. You just can't do it. So, it's kind of sad. I don't care about political stuff or anything. And you got these conservative Canadians. I think that's what they are. They like to bitch, moan, and complain, and like say a lot of false and crazy and outlandish and over exaggerating things about their country. And it's funny, like some Canadians won't go after these people. They just go after Americans who say stupid stuff about their country. But they never go after their own, which I find to be kind of odd. Like, I'm not going to argue with anybody, but if someone says some false things about my country, I'm going to say something to them. But, I guess that doesn't exist in Canada. It's just bash the Americans, not other Canadians. Maybe those Canadians don't want to have anything to do with those whacked out Canadians. I don't know. Toronto, the worst of the worst. Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Some Canadians who live in this city claims it sucks because it is a shithole. I'm just going by what they're saying, so yeah, so let me check this city out again. I did it in a previous video on this channel, so I'm going to do it again by the request of a Canadian. Okay, I'm on Eleanor Avenue. So I'm in a neighborhood. There's some chairs and a mattress sitting in front of a house. Looks really nice. So let me let me go take a look at another part of the city. Okay, I'm still in some neighborhood somewhere in Toronto. Doesn't look that great. I'm in a neighborhood and it's like a dump. Looking at a house that's a complete dump. Some of these houses are nice, and oh, and by the way, I heard that Canada is going through a housing crisis. People can't afford homes because homes are too expensive. Yeah, that's just what I heard. So that's not good. Same thing with, yeah. That's similar to the, yeah, like buying a home in the U.S. is expensive too. So yeah, some of these homes in T Town looks good. Some of them, not all of them. So I'm looking at a house, like the house in the middle between two homes. Like that one looks nice. Up story, like go upstairs. That's really nice. Um, yeah. So let me go check out other parts of the city. Get out of this neighborhood. Okay, I'm on Spurlana Avenue. I think that's the name of it. I can't pronounce it. I think it's Spadana Avenue. Okay, see, I'm at an intersection. Yeah, these cables right here. Yeah, in my previous video, I was saying that these were scary and dangerous, but someone commented on a video that I did about Toronto, and they told me that these cables are for the tram. So I'm all for public transportation. I don't think you know being isolated in a car and driving around in a car is not good. I mean, there's other options that you can get around in a city. You can take the bus, the train, the tram. You can walk or ride a bicycle. So I like those transportation options. Yeah, and take the train. Like I think I said the train. Yeah. So that's way better than being isolated in a car. But if you walk, bike, take the train, the tram, or ride a bus, I mean, you'd be able to socialize with people, talk to people. It's a good way to meet new people and connect with them, and it's the best way to meet new people, get to know them, and connect with them, and form friendships, yeah, and relationships. But yeah, you can do that in Europe, but some countries in Europe, but not in Canada, especially not here in Toronto, because all over Canada people are very antisocial, very standoffish, very cold, very rude, unfriendly, weird, strange, you name it. And in Toronto, it's not something to toot your horn about. Like, it's not a very appealing city to me. It's not. I'll probably visit this place, but see how it is. If I don't like what I see, I'm not coming back here ever again. Okay, I'm seeing the CN Tower. I see it. It's a good view. Let's see where I'm at. Let's see, I am look like a bus stop or something. I can't tell. It's in the medium between the two lanes that between the two roads that make up this city street that I'm on. Yeah, I can see someone spray some graffiti on the roof of some buildings. Yeah, so that's basically why Toronto is crap. Graffiti. Yeah. And that's like you'll see that in cities, like big cities all over the U.S. Okay, this place is a dump. Graffiti on the bridge and see some homeless people sitting on the sidewalks. I heard that Canada has like a homeless people crisis. So yeah, uh, looks really bad. Looks really run down. More graffiti and shit. More of it on other buildings. I guess these parts of Toronto are the so-called shitty parts. And you ask me, they look pretty shitty to me. Very, very, very shitty. And I am in the very, very, very shitty part. I'm in a part that's really, really shitty. Yeah. Yeah. I think I went to some parts of Toronto in the previous video. Toronto is a shithole, and this part is pretty shitty, pretty run down. It's a dump. Boy, this part is pretty run down. And the people in Toronto, I don't know how these people are, but I'm gonna say that some of these people are very rude and very cold. I bet you go up and you speak to them, and they'll probably like yell at you, tell you to get the away from them. They tell you to F off, or they'll just probably ignore you. That's probably what I would get if I was in Toronto. Yeah, I'll probably get that if I wasn't in Toronto. I am in an area, and I picked this out, and it looks like it's falling apart. Look at this part. Like look at the shops, the outdoor shops. Look like Mexico. Look like being in Mexico. Look like Tijuana. This is what it looks like. And this is Toronto. I'm in a part of the city that looks like Mexico a little bit. But that's just me. Yeah, not a very good place to go for a walk. I bet crime in Toronto is it's like over the top. I bet it's really, really bad there. I bet it is. Yeah, heard about people in Ontario and Quebec are getting their cars stolen by car thieves, and their cars end up in countries overseas like the yeah, they end up in Middle Eastern countries and also in South Africa. And that's where their cars are found at. So yeah, I heard this from the one of the police officers of the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police. Heard that like people have their houses broken into, and the car thieves ransack their houses to look for the key fobs to their cars. And when they find the key fobs to their cars, they go and start their cars up and drive off, or they use an overriding system to deactivate the anti-theft system in the cars to steal them. And going back to one of the officers of the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police, one of the officers told the citizens of Ontario and also in Toronto, telling them to leave the key fog on the table next to the front door to their house so the thieves won't break into their homes and ransack their homes. And that's just stupid right there. Like, I mean, you're telling citizens to put a key fog on the table to the front door to their homes. Like, you're just telling you're telling them to make it easier for the thieves to steal their cars. That's insane. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I think people in Ontario or any part of Ontario or Toronto for that matter shouldn't be doing that either. Yeah, the car thieves are basically stealing like crossover vehicles and big massive pickup trucks. So that's what they're after. Okay, I'm in another part of Toronto, and I see that people are driving their cars on trolley tracks. I don't know, like that'll do a lot of damage to the suspension to your car. Yeah, I remember someone in the comments on that video that I did on Toronto, they talked about it's a drivable city unless you have a tank, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to drive your car on trolley tracks. I don't know how the people in Toronto feel about driving their cars on trolley tracks. So don't know. So I don't know if they hate this or they like this. So I don't know. Maybe I'll find out in the comments after I post this video. So this looks like it goes on for kilometers per kilometers per kilometers, or kilometers um, of people driving their cars on trolley tracks. So again, they're going to have a very high car repair bill, and going back to people getting their cars swiped by car thieves. And I heard that like the insurance, like the insurance on people's cars will go up, and it's very expensive after their cars get ripped off by car thieves, and their insurance is through the roof. So that's not a good thing right there. Okay, this Google Street View of a piece of Toronto was taken back on June of 2021. I can see that this woman right here who's crossing the street on a zebra crosswalk. While she's talking to someone on her smartphone, she's carrying a tote bag, and she's wearing sandals, and she's wearing all black. Yeah, I heard this. I remember stories about Canadian women are hostile monsters. And they're like the men, and the men are like the women, which I heard from a Canadian, which is pretty messed up. So but I bet that there's some Canadian women somewhere in Canada that are completely feminine and sweet and down to earth, but you won't be able to find that like in big cities like Toronto at all. So if I'm interested in a woman, if I'm interested in a woman, I'm gonna stay clear away from these Canadian women. And I did a video about someone telling me I should marry a Canadian woman, which I have no interest in at all. Okay, I'm at an intersection between York Street and King Street. That's right, York Street and King Street. And there's trolley tracks. Like I don't think it's good to drive your car on trolley tracks or better yet on train tracks. But I guess that's just how some parts of Toronto is designed and mapped out. Designed and mapped out. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at one of the houses in somewhere in Toronto. Yeah. I think I saw some houses like they're all close together. They're just like next. They're just like next to each other. So it doesn't look like a really nice looking place. Looks kind of run down a little bit. Just get a good view. Okay. Yeah, the road, this street looks very narrow. Very narrow. The speed limit on this street is 30 kilometers per hour. Hold up. Yeah. I'm looking at this part of Toronto, and it looks similar to England a little bit. The UK, Southampton. Uh, some of these houses look nice. Some of them are kind of dumpy a little bit. Yeah, just got away from that big narrow street. Got away from that narrow street. It's very very narrow. Looks like the house is being built. Looks like it was got done being built to sort of porta potty. Okay. Okay, I'm in a huge crowd of people here. Let's see. Let's see. Two girls walking next to each other. Let's see. One wearing a pair of jeans, the other wearing like long pink pants. Here's some more girls. Here's some guys. Like he's on a cup of coffee. Espresso. Yeah, they're saying like if you're in a crowd, if you're in a place filled with people, lots and lots and lots of people, yeah, you feel basically, alone because none of them want to talk to you, probably. But yeah, I'm looking at this part of Toronto, and basically, this area's pretty crappy. So yeah, I mean, what can I mean, what can I say about this? Just basically, it's a dump. Yeah, really a dump. A dump. A dump. Another angle from the same location. Jeez, like, so what the heck? I mean, that girl, the girl in the white shirt and is wearing blue jeans and white tennis shoes. Like, is she wearing mom jeans? I bet she is. I don't have any problem with women wearing mom jeans. I mean, that's so 1990s slash 1980s. You know, don't I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wear a pair of jeans that are kind of like that. So I find them to be very very comfortable, and this lovely young lady right here in the white shirt and in the blue jeans and the white shoes, like she's probably very very comfortable in her jeans. So so I got no problem with that. So yeah, you wear what you want to wear. I really don't care. But anyway, um, yeah, it's yeah, this place like yeah, it's kind of dumpy. It's like kind of chaotic to me. I don't know. Okay, here's some pictures of Toronto. Okay, that's downtown Toronto. That must be the Parliament building. Okay, and go to another one. Okay, some type of district. The Distillery District. I think that's what it's called. Okay, here's a shitty part of Toronto. I'm trying to find the shitty parts. Okay, an outdoor restaurant. It's like a bicycle shop. And that's the crappy downtown skyline. Yes, there's all downtown Toronto. Okay, another view of the CN Tower. That must be the Ontario Parliament House. Then you go on the left side, the letters Toronto. Okay, look at this. A car painted in different colors, and it has like plants planted in it. Plants planted into it. Never seen anything like this. Okay, another view of the CN Tower. This is another part of downtown Toronto. Another shitty part of the city. Okay, another part of downtown Toronto. You know, I want to say this, like, there's a lot of construction projects going on in Toronto. Lots of them. No wonder this city looks like a mess. It's like construction everywhere. Construction all over the place. Okay, and this is another part of downtown. Downtown. So I don't want to go to downtown Toronto. Okay, another downtown part that has a lot of people. Let's see, another area, another downtown area. So another downtown area. Okay, this is like a winter setting. A lot of snow. Yeah, I think I said in a previous video, if I lived in Canada and it snowed, I mean, I'm not going to bother driving. I'm just going to just walk or catch the bus. That's basically what I'm going to do if I live anywhere in Canada. Well, if it snows there in the winter. Okay. A water fountain with statuettes of dogs and cats. Okay, this must be the Parliament House, the Ontario Parliament House. Okay, it's a view of Toronto. Another view of the so-called shithole city. You know, not all parts of Toronto look bad. It looks pretty good. But I guess Canadians who live in Toronto want to say it's a shithole. Let's see. Looks like a marina. Science for Peace. Looks like a college. College. Parliament House or a college. Okay, the Toronto. Another view of the CN Tower. Yeah. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at these photos. And here's a dumpy part of Toronto. It looks like I'm getting into the really shitty parts of Toronto. Yeah, I can't believe I'm doing this video. Doing it at the request of a Canadian. He told me to do more Google Map street views of Toronto, because he says that the city sucks. Graffiti on the pole, graffiti everywhere. Well, not everywhere, on some look like some kind of electrical power box or something. Condemned buildings, like, or condemned homes. I guess this is the part. These are one of the parts of Toronto that gives the city the name shithole. Yeah. They got these condemned buildings. They're all fenced up. There's a sign on that fence that says no dumping. I mean, they say Toronto's a shithole, so you know. I mean, I guess if you dump, you're just gonna make the city even worse. It's gonna look even worse than how it is. Like some of the parts that are in the city, how they look right now. Yeah. I bet. I bet there's like. I bet there's a huge family of raccoons living in these buildings. Yeah, because I remember I watched a YouTube video of this old man in Nova Scotia. He was feeding a lot of raccoons. A lot of raccoons came to the back porch of his house, a back patio. He sat down with this huge tub of food, and the raccoons, lots of them, like I don't know how many of them. I don't know how many raccoons that came to his home, but there was a lot of them. And it just smothered him. They just covered him up. They just kept coming. There was this all over this old man, and this old man was saying this: "Yes, yes, yes, yes." Yeah, if I live in a rundown house in Toronto and I'm sharing a rundown home with a raccoon, I'm gonna say this: no, 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 because I'm thinking that raccoon probably has rabies or probably rabitus, probably foaming at the mouth, ready to attack me. Whew. Okay, my thoughts on Toronto. Um, it's a shithole. It is. Some parts of it is shit. Some parts of it looks good, but overall, you know, this city is basically a dump, and it is like driving your car on a on tram tracks. Yeah, like that'll just ruin the. Yeah, driving your car on tram tracks or railway tracks, like that'll just like that's bad. That's bad on the suspension of your car. But I don't know. I never driven a car on tram tracks, so I don't. I don't know, but doesn't look good. Like seeing people like driving their cars on tram tracks. Toronto, Toronto. Um, yeah, it's shit. It's shit. And no more. I don't want to look at this city anymore. No more. No more. Okay, what part of Canada should I go to? Let's see. Um, I'll just pick Alberta. So just go to Calgary. So I'm in a part of Calgary that looks more like one of the cities in BC. I think I took a look at downtown Calgary, and it looks very similar to downtown Dallas in Dallas, Texas, in the U.S. So Canada is very, very similar to the U.S. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Yeah, the home of the famous Hart family and the dungeon at the Hart House. Yeah, Stu Hart, Bret Hart, Owen Hart. Yeah. Speaking of that, I think I watched a documentary about okay, I think it was a documentary about Bret Hart in the WWF, through the Montreal screw job. He got screwed through the Montreal screw job, and I think one of Bret Hart's sisters said that like when they were kids at school used to tease them by calling them Hart Fart, Hart Fart. I just died laughing hearing that. I guess the kids called the Hart House, the Hart Mansion in Calgary. They call the Hart House the Fart House, the Fart House. I'm sorry, that's so funny. So let me get this straight. Okay, Stu Hart like the stretch people, we was training people in the Hart dungeon. He stretched people. I think someone goes up to the person that Stu Hart is stretching, and they just go and fart in their face. I can't feel my legs. Oh! I'm sorry. This is funny. Well, anyway, yeah, Calgary looks like Dallas. They say that Alberta is Canada's Texas. Yeah, I kind of see it here. Alberta is the Canadian Texas. So is it better than the real Texas? uh, yeah. Um. I mean, should I go to the Fart House? I mean, I'm not the Fart House, the Hart House. Sorry. Those of you who are fans of Bret Hart, yeah, Bret Hart is a great wrestler. Yeah, what's his line? He says, "The best there is, the best there was, the best that there ever will be, the excellence of execution." He's a good wrestler, though. Yeah, I used to watch wrestling. It kind of sucks that Goldberg kicked Bret Hart in the head, ending his career. Yeah, I heard Goldberg was not a very good wrestler, and he was kind of stiff in the ring. And yeah, Goldberg's a piece of crap for doing that, and it's Kind of said that Bret Hart lost his younger brother in that stunt gone bad in the WWF the Kansas City Arena. Yeah, so that was sad, you know. Yeah, Brett lost his brother in that, and I lost my brother in a car accident involving a teenager falling asleep behind the wheel of a car. So yeah, kind of sad, kind of tragic. But yeah. But anyway, let me talk about Calgary. Yeah, Calgary looks it looks like it looks like Dallas. It's like going through downtown Dallas. Um, yeah, yeah. Any one of you who live in Calgary, you can tell me if Calgary is a nice city. You can tell me stories about it. You know, I don't mind. Just leave your comment on. Tell me how Calgary is. If you're from Calgary, Alberta, just leave your comments. Or if you're from anywhere in Canada, you can leave your comments and tell me how it is where you live in Canada. Well, I'm not trying to treat Alberta like a fart in a room that nobody doesn't want to talk about. I'm not trying to do that. So, yeah. Okay, I went over into Nova Scotia and I'm going to go to Halifax. Halifax, okay, Winnipeg and Halifax are better cities than Toronto. Okay, I'm looking at Halifax. I'm going to check out Halifax. I don't see it being better. Like it looks like Toronto a little bit. This is Halifax, Nova Scotia. So, yeah, I don't see. I don't see the difference. Hmm. Doesn't look run down. Well, okay. Since I'm in Nova Scotia, there's a city in Nova Scotia that's called New Glasgow, and I watched a video on YouTube about this a long time ago. I don't know if New Glasgow is still like this or not. And I heard this from the source on this YouTube video that New Glasgow is deemed one of the worst cities in Canada, having like crumbling roads, high poverty rate, a high homeless rate, and high crime and whatnot. And that's what I heard. So looking at Halifax, and looks it looks nice, looks decent. So we'll take a look at New Glasgow. Okay, New Glasgow. Excuse me. New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. Uh, yeah, Nova Scotia is one of the maritime provinces, so it looks so the maritime provinces. Well, Nova Scotia looks or New Glasgow. I'm looking at New Glasgow in Nova Scotia. Looks like something straight out of New England in the U.S. Someone said, someone said that Winnipeg, along with Halifax, are better cities than Toronto. Winnipeg looks nice, but has a high crime rate and is dangerous. It's a dangerous city, have a high murder rate. Um, so it's not a good place to live. I don't know about Halifax. Halifax looks decent. It's a nice looking city, but I'm gonna say this. It doesn't matter where you go. Every place has its dark side. So, and, I don't want to live in a high crime area where I get robbed or I'm likely to be murdered. And don't want to live in a place like that. And that's not good. So you just go to a place that's safer. Okay, Canada. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It is what it is. So not a great country to go and socialize and make friends. Not a great country to do that at all. So you're gonna be as lonely in Canada like you are in the U.S. if you're from the U.S. So Canada is even worse than the U.S. So hearing from Canadians who live there, but every country has its pros and cons. But socializing, human connection, that's something Canada lacks, just like the U.S. So I'll visit Canada, but if there's some places I don't, if there's some, if I don't like the country as a whole, I don't like how it is, then I'm not gonna visit there anymore. I'm not gonna live there. I'm not even gonna live there because I'm not interested in living in that country. Yeah, just like in the U.S., people are antisocial, standoffish, ice cold, unfriendly. They put up a cold wall because they don't want to talk to you. Yeah, both the U.S. and Canada possess that. And it's not like that in countries that believe in social human connection and believe in connecting with people, believe in socializing with people and making friends and it's in the social vibe flows smoothly, it's naturally. And you don't get that in countries like the US and Canada. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Cheers and au revoir.